Hi, I'm Ricky Rodriguez, and I go to Los Medanos College in both Pittsburgh and Brentwood. This is my dog Creeper. He wants to be in the video. Say hi, Creeper. Anyway, I'm taking a English 230 class, and we are touched up on the subject of global interdependence and diversity. And I guess it's the other way around, but still, it's the same thing. And while we read literature, we are taken into the eyes of another person, and when we're in the eyes of a different person, we see what they see, and we learn from their experiences. The literatures that we've touched up on were Sonny's Blues, A Man with Enormous Wings, and Black Swan Green. Two out of those three are told in a first-person perspective, so it's easier to learn from a first-person perspective than a third person. But still, we can still learn from the literature if we're taken into their time period or into their culture. It's we learn from there, and after reading those stories, I've learned that people are just afraid of cultural change, and when people are culturally different, they just don't want anything to be affiliated with it. So they do harmful things and hurtful things, really. So the first example I would like to point out is that helped me learn about the subject is from the excerpt of Sonny's Blues, when our unnamed narrator, which is like Sonny's brother, doesn't have a name, is telling the story about the story his mom told him about his dad and how he died, and he was just killed by a drunk, or his dad got drunk, and he was just killed by a white man driving a truck, and the white man just didn't do anything. He just drove off. And so it's like, at that time, during that time period, I'm pretty sure the white people were maybe scared of culturally changing because the black people were coming into America, and I think that story takes place like in around the 50s or so. So obviously, like that whole segregation was totally legal, and obviously the white man didn't get arrested for killing Sonny's father just out of the blue. So after reading that part, we could tell that people at that time were afraid of what how their culture would change, really. And so the next one I like to bring up is from Black Swan Green, is when Jason Taylor, our narrator and protagonist, are talking about the gypsies. And so it's like a gypsy comes to his door asking, for like knife grinding services, and of course Jason says his parents aren't there, which they weren't, and then he tells them later on, saying like, hey, a man came to the door asking for knife grinding services, and his dad just goes on and bashes the gypsies, saying like, oh, they're no good, and they're just beggars, and they're just asking for money. They don't really work. They don't really belong in this world and all. Calls them hustlers too, because that sounds like something a hustler would do, is just ask for money and not necessarily give for services. And then Jason also talks about how gypsy kids were picked on at school. And so obviously this is 1982 England, so you could see that the English people were afraid of culturally changing into the gypsies. So that's another thing I could learn, that people just don't want to be like other people, but other times you just gotta like tolerate it and just accept it. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to change to adapt to the culture that's in there, that lives with you. Just do your own thing. And the last thing I like to touch up on is called it's the story by Gabrielle Marquez, I believe that was her name, and it's called A Man with Enormous Wings, and it's about like an old man who's like an angel. He's disoriented, and it's like they say he's filthy, and people are just there like he's a fallen angel or something, like let's get rid of him, he's here to take our children. And this man's just weak, and he's just trying to recover. And of course our couples, I forgot their names, like one of them was like NC Lenta or something, and the other one was like, I forgot, was it like Pelego or something? Anyway, it's like they eventually make money off this guy because people want to see him. Sometimes people throw rocks at him or take his feathers or something, and they're just full on bashing him. That's not cool. But anyway, they were afraid that he was gonna come by and just like turn someone into a tarantula, like how they told the story about the girl turned into a tarantula because she disobeyed her mother, and they're scared like, oh, this guy's here to correct our mistakes and all, just like. And that takes place in, like, I think Colombia, so, you know, that's how people are afraid of cultural difference there. So overall, with all these stories that I've read, it's I could say I learned that, like, cultural differences are you know, nothing to be afraid of, and they all come in shapes and sizes, really. Like, you know, if it's America, England, or Colombia, it's like people are just scared in their own way. So, you know, I've learned that it's just like, it's best just, you know, not to, you know, discriminate anyone because they're culturally different. It's just, you know, live with it, you know, like, let's learn about it, really. Maybe it'll be exciting. And it's nothing wrong with it, really. So that's all I have to say that I've learned. I'm Ricky, and this is Creeper. One time. Say hello, how to Camp Creeper. No? Okay.